What it do, guys? Manjoume here, and today we're going to check out the suggested starting decks for Versus System 2-player card game Marvel Monsters Unleashed. Now, these are the 4 suggested starting decks for the 4 teams: Inhumans, Champions, Monsters Unleashed, and Leviathans. And remembering my unboxing, there's a very weird number of locations in the deck, but if you follow the pamphlet paper to the T, you have exactly enough, at least for their arrangement. Now, if you wanted more of certain ones, you're going to have to grab them from other sets, buy extras or something like that. But they're basic locations, so they shouldn't be too difficult to find, and you are allowed to have different artwork as long as the number of, say, training grounds does not exceed 4. So you can have 2 different artworks, not really a big deal. Each one says you can use any of the main characters for this starting deck. It doesn't really matter. The only one where it does matter is Leviathan Mother, where you literally only get the one. Of the cards that you get for the Leviathans, you get exactly what you need. There's no real deck augmentation. We'll see. You'll see later what I mean, but there's not a lot of creativity in this deck in particular. But we will take a look at the other ones first, starting with the Inhumans. You can use any main character, per the list. I would probably use Black Bolt. You can use Moon Girl, and you would side in Devil Dinosaur as well. There's Medusa, Karnak, and Crystal. Those are all the characters you have to choose within that team. For the main deck, you're going to be running 2 Captain Swain, 2 Nausea, 2 Inferno, 2 Panacea, 2 Triton, 2 Frank McGee, 2 Grid, 2 copies of Moon Girl, that'll come in play later, 2 Flint, 2 Lockjaw, 2 Quake, and actually 4 copies of Ahura, because to properly utilize him, you're going to run him at max, because you're going to use his ability to split, when you have the 1 out, split it, so you basically get to summon these 3 other ones basically from anywhere. Hand, deck, KO pile, and they can swarm this turn, so you have any number of them, obviously, so they can exist together. You basically team attack with them, and then at the end of the turn, they go back into the deck, and you can do it again. And even if the one that's out dies, if you get one of the other ones out and use the ability again, that one from the KO pile becomes one of the soul split, or I like to think of them as shadow clones. Really cool effect. I do really enjoy that. They have range, because why not? That's really fun. And let's continue. 2 ISO, 2 Karnak, 2 Gorgon, 2 Readers, 2 Black Bolt, 2 Medusas, 1 Devil Dinosaur, which I think actually creates an issue unless the fact that Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur existing, the team affiliation counts as both. To the plot twists, we have 2 the New Humans, 2 A Killer Voice, 2 Emerge from the Cocoon, and the last one doesn't make any sense to me, is Diplomatic Immunity. Now, the reason I don't really understand this is that it has Inhuman Loyalty. Put this card in your deck only if each card in your deck with a team affiliation has Inhuman. Now, the problem with that is we put that Devil Dinosaur in there that has Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur and Monsters Unleashed. It is not an Inhuman, so to me says this is an illegal card to put in here. But this is part of the suggested starting deck for whatever reason, already breaks its own rules. Not too sure, I'm not going to harp on it too much, but obviously that's going to come up again when we go to the Monsters Unleashed side and they have their own loyalty cards, and you included Moon Girl in there, who is not a Monsters Unleashed type. Now, the way to get around that would have been to say the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur icon is considered both Inhuman and Monsters Unleashed at the same time, but if they don't, they just gave them their own icon so that they are on one team together, but also have their own team affiliation. So I don't really understand how that's supposed to work and how it's a legal deck. We have 4 copies of their special location, New Atalon, 2 Academy, 2 Fortress, 3 Laboratory, and 2 Training Ground. Now, this is the reason why the weird number of locations ended up working, because we have such low counts of certain ones in the deck. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Monsters Unleashed, since we did mention it. You can use Fing Fang Foom, and I just have the alternate artwork card here, just if you want to see it. I do prefer the fact that they have 2 different ones. I think it always looks cooler that way. Speaking of, we have Kid Kaiju, who looks very different in his level 2 version, and I really like it. We have Devil Dinosaur, who, just like Moon Girl, creates weird deck building things with the loyalty. Goom, who's fun, and Elsa Bloodstone. For the main deck, we have 2 copies of Tim Boo Ba, 2 copies of Creature from the Black Bog, 2 Googans, 2 Hivos, 2 Elsa Bloodstones, 2 Scrag, 2 Devil Dinosaurs. That doesn't really create any issues there. 2 Igus, 2 Kid Kaiju, 2 Pildor the Plunderer, 2 Gooms, 2 Makara, 2 Monstro, 2 Slizak, 2 Thing That Crawls by Night, 2 Fireclaw, 2 Fing Fang Foom, 2 Suztak, and 1 Moon Girl, who I again believe messes with the team loyalty cards that we'll see soon. 2 Crackle Thoom, 2 Monsters Unleashed, 2 The Fight Is Finished, 2 Flatten, which has that monster loyalty. Put in your deck only if each card in your deck with a team affiliation has Monster Unleashed. However, once again, Moon Girl does not have either, so this should not be a legal card or a legal deck. But again, it is part of the suggested deck list they have here. So I guess if you want to make the deck legal, take her out. And maybe Devil Dinosaur, because he doesn't have his partner, so maybe just make it up with something else. 4 copies of Moo, their rainbow location. Again, keeping in mind there's no red in this set. Instead, you have Earth. 2 Academy, 4 Earth, 3 Fortress, and 2 Laboratory. Next up, let's take a look at the champions. So you can use Miss Marvel, Viv Vision, Spider-Man, Nova, and Hulk. In the deck, you're going to be running 2 Cyclops, 2 Dinosaur, 2 Miss Marvel, 2 Big Bertha, 2 Dark Star, 2 Doorman, 2 Black Widow, which I'm wondering if later in the game's life, if there's another Black Widow played by Yelena, so that it actually becomes a mantle. That'd be interesting to see. 2 Flatman, 2 Iceman, 2 Spider-Man, 2 Angel, 2 Viv Vision, 2 Gwenpool, 2 Mr. Immortals, 2 Nova, 2 Hulk, 2 Ghost Rider, who I honestly, that could be a mantle too later on, I believe. I don't know if it actually is in this, but of course in the comics there's multiple Ghost Riders, so that could be one. 2 Hercules, 2 Baby Avengers, 2 Fall Back, 2 Tough Kids, and 2 Change the World. I don't think we had any issues in terms of team composition with the loyalty here. 4 Jersey Cities, Rainbow there, 4 Academies, 3 Fortress, 3 Labs, and 2 Training Grounds. Let me know in the comments which main character you want to see pilot this deck. Spider-Man, of course, is always fun. Hulk, never say no to him. Nova, Vision, know very little about them. Miss Marvel could be fun. Now, for the last deck, there actually was the least amount of just things you can do with it. It's really weird. I think there's some verbiage in the manual here, but yeah, let's see. You have your level 1, level 2 of Leviathan Mother. That's the only option. Then you have 8 copies of Leviathan Servitor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because it has Swarm, meaning you could like just play them all out anyway, but it has Legion, which means you can have up to 8 copies in the deck. And since it has Swarm, you can, if whatever reason you had them all, you could just play all 8. Then you have 20 one-of-a-kind creatures. So Leviathan Demolisher, Plasma Throat Leviathan, Serpentine Leviathan, Fang Leviathan, Leviathan Crusher, Turtle Shell Leviathan, Eggplant Leviathan, Furnace Chest Leviathan, Leviathan Hydra, Savage Leviathan, Charging Leviathan, Leviathan Shambler, Leviathan Vanguard, Spiked Leviathan, Blazing Leviathan, Death's Head Leviathan, Leviathan Beast, Dual Moth Leviathan, Leviathan Brute, and Rampaging Leviathan. Basically just all of them. And then you're maxing out with 4 copies of Property Damage, 4 copies of Leviathan Tide, 4 copies of the Queen Demands Tribute, 4 of their Rainbow, the Desecrated Nest, that omits blue but has space, 4 copies of Academy, 4 copies of Fortress, 4 copies of Space, and 4 copies of Training Ground. Now, the cool thing, or the interesting thing here, is a new game mode that they introduced. Interestingly here, they introduced a new game mode called the Leviathan Invasion. It is actually a 2v1 scenario. In this game mode, 2 players must work together to defend Earth against an evil Leviathan invasion. Use the free-for-all rule from the Marvel battles with the following changes. 1 player's main character must be Leviathan Mother. Leviathan Mother wins by KOing each enemy main character, so it has to defeat 2. Other players win by KOing the Leviathan Mother. Leviathan Mother goes first. No players skip drawing during their first draw phase, so they get to draw as normal. When the Leviathan Mother plays a location, she gets one of the following effects depending on which power symbol it has. If it has Leviathan, defend your mother. You may put a Leviathan creature from your hand onto your side as long as it has cost less than or equal to the number of resources you have. So just for free. Yellow, the time for nesting is here. Draw another card for each one-of-a-kind character on your side. Green, face me and die. Put 3+1/1 counters on Leviathan Mother. Red, this planet angers me. Each enemy player chooses one of their face-up supporting characters and stuns it, the Desecrated Nest. When you play this location, choose any one of the 4 above effects. Actually, yeah, because that first one isn't even a location type. I guess you actually don't ever always get this. Like, you never get this. You get Desecrated Nest and can pick that, but the 3 others you always get. Unless that's like a typo and it's supposed to be space, but it's not. It doesn't say space. It has their team affiliation, which to me just says if you get any of these 3, you do those right away. But if you get Desecrated Nest, which is their version of the rainbow, the special location, you get to pick that as an option, but the others are also there. Now, what this actually is that they introduce in later sets is called Boss Battle. I guess that's what they called it here, and thematically it makes more sense, called the Leviathan Invasion, because that's what's going on. People have to work together to do it. They just called it a boss battle in later sets. But it's cool to see that they included that here. So you can do a normal game fighting Leviathan Mother 1v1, or do this boss mode version and give that a go instead. That's it for the suggested starting decks for the Versus System 2-player card game Marvel Monsters Unleashed. Let me know in the comment section below which deck was your favorite and which main character would you like to see faced off against which other main character in deck. If you want to stay up to date with my videos and live streams about YouTube and Twitch, check out links in the description below, like, comment, subscribe, and consider joining. That's all for now, guys. Manjoume out. And in the comment section below, let me know what color sleeves you'd like to see for each team.